Game one's in the book for the Mariners, and they hit 4 homers, but the small ball struggled. Welcome to the Dom Skiing Channel, your one-stop shop for the Mariners storylines on Seattle's minds. I just got home literally a couple minutes ago. I want to go through first my game notes, and then my in-game notes, and then I'm going to go over some post-game thoughts I have. Starting off with, I think this game, kind of really went in the middle innings. Actually, going back here for a second, I want to go over. Obviously, Guardians beat the Mariners 6-4. Out hit the Mariners 12-6, and that is why, yes, this was a close game until late in the game. But when you get doubled up on your hits, 12-6, that's where you don't necessarily deserve to be in that game, quote unquote. And that Guardians 263 expected batting average was pulled up by a whole lot of 12 hits, whereas the Mariners 233 batting average was actually pulled up by the 4 home runs. And opposed, other than that, I mean, 2 doubles. I mean, you didn't have a single in this game if you're the Mariners. So the small ball just wasn't necessarily there tonight. Not enough base runners to beat Cleveland, who had all the base runners. And now going back to the in-game notes. So in the fourth inning, I was like, okay, this is the problem with the early count monsters. And I was discussing this with Titan Gonzalez last week on the podcast. Tanner Bybee was on 50 pitches through 4 innings, and it's now up to the platoons, the young guy, Cole Young, the young guy. He is the young guy in the lineup, the prospect, quote unquote. He's the youngest, and I mean, he's also quote unquote, he's Cole Young. So anyway, I'm going to start calling him the young guy in a way, that kind of covers both bases. And then Rivas is the one guy who is supposed to be a pest in this lineup, and to get Bybee out of here before the third time through the order. Or maybe we just need the top to be the one third time through. So this is the second time through the order in the fourth inning, and it's like, okay, is, this bottom of the order, because you had, Cal comes up and hits it right away, hits something right away. Julio and Naylor both came up and then chased, they both swung at the first pitch, I believe, here. And then before you know it, Bybee is cruising through these innings, and this is what I was worried about with this team: is you've got early count monsters. I'd like to call them, because Julio, Cal, on a lot of, he didn't tonight. Cal worked some longer at bats tonight, but he likes to swing early in the count and has a lot of success doing so. Even Brendan Donovan sometimes he kind of goes either way, so does Cal. But Julio and Naylor especially, and then Randy as well, a lot of the time are early count monsters. They swing it the early stuff in the count, and that sets the Mariners back in getting the pitch count up, which is just one of the many battles going on during the game and during the war, I should say. And I mean, Bybee, 50 pitches through 4 innings. You had Raley, Canzone, Young, and Rivas up. So that's what I'm saying here is okay, which one of these guys is going to get this pitch count up, And how is Bybee going to get chased? And I'm like, okay, how are they going to chase Bybee? And the thing is, they ended up only chasing Bybee because they didn't chase Bybee at all. Bybee came out for the 6th inning, started warming up, and then had shoulder inflammation and went back to the dugout. A shoulder injury, which is later announced as shoulder inflammation, and went back to the dugout. And that's how the Mariners stopped facing Tanner Bybee, who was doing well against the Mariners himself. Tanner Bybee, going over the stats, he had 7 hard hits on 78 pitches through 5 innings. So it was that 5th inning that the Mariners really got the pitches up for Tanner Bybee too. But looking here, so 20 pitches in the first inning he threw, then 14 in the second, 11 in the third, and then just 6 in the 4th inning. And at that point, he was getting to a point where he was cruising. Then the 27 pitch 5th inning, that was kind of their saving grace in terms of getting the pitch count up and just getting him to 78 pitches, where eventually, unfortunately, he got injured. But he was getting a lot of whiffs. He was racking up the swinging strikes, 15 on 78 pitches for Tanner Bybee, including 3 on the 4-seam, 7 on the changeup, 4 on the cutter. It looked like prime Tanner Bybee. It looked like as good as I've ever seen him. So, he was looking pretty good. His velocity, too, was right in line with last year, if not a little bit up on everything. Actually, 0.2 to 0.3 up on his 3 main pitches. Every single one of his pitches, other than the curveball, which he threw twice, and the sweeper, which he threw once, showed a uptick of either like zero point 0.2 to zero point 0.5 miles an hour in velocity. So, I mean, Tanner Bobby definitely had his best stuff. Logan, on the other hand, the velocity wasn't quite there. It was a cold night in Seattle. So, it's part of the explanation there. But, yeah, go ahead and throw this up for you guys. Tanner Bybee. Go ahead and throw his stuff up right here. So you see, in this year, yeah, I want to be able to like show you guys what I'm seeing. I don't really like screencasting on Baseball Savant as like too much, but I think this is going to be good. So this is where I see you see the 15, the 78 on that top row, and yeah, the average exit velocity 97.3. The Mariners were hitting him hard when they did, so you could say it's a cold night, but the ball was absolutely flying. I saw, funnily enough, shout out to Mariner Mojo, was hanging out with them before the game. Mojo boys, always a pleasure. But we were joking about how all these guys hitting homers today, is the juice ball making a comeback? And it would be funny if we found out later that it was. Not to say that's exactly what's happening. I think the MLB is just trending towards players swinging for the fences a lot more. And you had Guardians chased a lotter, right? Goes for a double dong, as does Dom Canzone. And so anyway, yeah, I was wondering how going to get Tanner Bybee out. That was kind of how they did. Tanner Bybee looked really good though for the Guardians, and he didn't allow many base runners. So even though he gives up the 3 homers, they're all solo shots, and it's just 3 runs. And he would have had a quality start if he had made it through that 6th inning unscathed, despite giving up 3 homers and 7 hard hits. And that's just because the Mariners weren't getting quite enough, base runners and not working long counts, not doing the control of the zone thing that they used to do without JP, without Ben Williamson. That's what they're going to need to do a little bit more. Leo Rivas, his first time up, didn't do too much of that. I think he had like a 3-pitch at bat. Second time through, he absolutely did. He came through with a really long at bat, and that actually started that 27-pitch 5th inning was where the Mariners had their most base runners of the night. They had 2 base runners on second and third at once, with Cal Raleigh up nonetheless. So yeah, Leo Rivas saw 3 pitches his first time up. I think he needs to be the pest. So I was like, okay. Then he saw 8 pitches his second time up, and he walked, bringing up Brendan Donovan, who poked it the other direction, poked it down the line in left field. And yeah, I mean, it wasn't a hard hit ball, 86.5 miles an hour. But hit it on the ground, 0.080 xBA, but he poked it right down the line, and it was exactly what was needed. Negative 16-degree launch angle. Hey, that's pretty awesome, right? It was also like it was a down and away, 4-seam fastball, catching. It was in the zone though, in that bottom corner, and he just poked it down the line. That was something that, that works so well in this ballpark, T-Mobile Park. So excited about him. Obviously, the leadoff homer as well, where he just jumped all over it and pulled it really hard. Yeah, obviously, want to get onto some of the other stuff. Yeah, Logan hanging a couple breaking balls tonight. He was throwing like a 78-mile-an-hour splitter at points. His velocity was not exactly in line with what it's been in the past. So yeah, the splitter averaged 81.5 tonight. It's just 0.3 lower than last year. Fastball 0.7 miles an hour down from last year as well. In the 94s, where last year it was in the 95. So not like a huge market difference. The slider and curveball were both down more than 1.5 ticks though. So I did think Logan looked a little bit, like maybe he was feeling the cold a little more. This is just complete kind of body type theorizing, but Logan is a lankier guy than Tanner Bybee, so that could have been a little more of it. But also Tanner Bybee, who was throwing harder and it was having success, did end up with an injury. I am of the belief that I mean, you pitch hard. You pitch as hard as you can. You get the best results you can, and you worry about the injuries later, especially from the team standpoint. The players might have something else to say about that. He had three 20 pitch innings, two 21 pitch innings at 20 pitch inning, then one inning where, with 11 pitches. Then the sixth inning, he threw three pitches, got the out, and obviously didn't stay in to get the quality start. He got 12 swinging strikes on 86 pitches, and he ended up with 7 strikeouts. When all told, as did Tanner Bybee. Both ended up with 7 strikeouts, and that was pretty impressive. There was a lot of walks in other games on opening day throughout the MLB, but not in this game. Surprisingly enough, each team walked twice only. So I mean, there was a whole lot of strikeouts. Let's see. Yeah, the Guardians struck out 11 times. The Mariners struck out, what is that? 14 times. 14 of the 27 outs. Just more than half were strikeouts. I mean, the hard hits were not divvied up. Julio and Cal both go hitless, strike out 3 times apiece. Cal walks once and works a really nice at bat. Both had really kind of, and I'm going to have to go and look at these because this is one of the things that Mariners Twitter is blowing up over. A lot of fans are talking about this. When scouting the Guardians, one of the main players I was looking at was Eric Sabrowski. I was like, what lefties do they have on their roster? Because with the lineup you're going to put out to face a righty, if you're the Mariners, you got a whole lot of lefties, and it means that obviously the other team better have a lefty firefighter to come in and put it out when they need to. And Eric Sabrowski was the name. He had like a 1.84 ERA last year, something absolutely disgusting. His baseball savant page is great. And then he comes in, and against Cal Raleigh, here's what he does. Got to go throw this up. He gets both Cal and Julio to strike out looking, but it's how he does it. So you see, this is this pitch right here where Cal Raleigh struck out on, and it was a called strike, a strike looking that Cal took. And at this point, it is the bottom of the 8th inning. This was where people say, Cal should have used the ABS. And being in the stadium, I think he did look at the umpire like, really, for a second, but he didn't use the ABS. I don't know if he just wasn't used to it. I think this would be a good, obviously, hindsight is 20/20, especially when you got baseball savant pulled up right in front of you. But this is the spot where, you look over it and you say, hey, this would be a spot to use ABS in the future. This could have kept that inning going. You never know what's going to happen after that. But it is what it is. And especially, maybe you don't want to do it when it's a 2-2 count. I get that. Especially when, you're leading off an inning. And you might have guys behind you that need to use that one challenge, or actually the 2 challenges, because the Mariners didn't use a single one tonight of the 2. And then Julio Rodriguez ends up striking out on this pitch right at the top of the zone, at the bottom of the zone. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys this. But the thing with this is that, this one wouldn't have actually been a chance to use it, really, or a chance where it would have actually made a difference, because this is the pitch, it was clearly in the zone. But Mariners fans are like, well, I still would have liked to see them use it, just because. And it's I get it. Now, this is where you clearly should have used it. The player clearly, made a kind of a gesture towards the ump, really. Getting more comfortable, I think they will use it. I'm not mad that they didn't use it tonight. I don't think it would have actually changed the result of the game. Hindsight is 20/20. And when you talk about going 1-0, yes, the Mariners want to go 1-0 today. But going 1-0 on every pitch and stuff, I don't know. They didn't necessarily, there's a lot of things that you could go back on. And if ABS is just going to be another thing that we can go back on and say, see, us as fans, we can understand this, right? I don't want to do that. I just want to say, you do it watching film. It's okay, 1-0, right? This is in the past. This game's already over. So all you can do is get ready for tomorrow's game. I've still got this stamp on my hand from a hat back from the pregame party. Also, I've got this wristband on, which is the Inland Empire 66ers, the new low A team. So shout out to the Inland Empire 66ers. Got this wristband at FanFest. So supporting the minor league, supporting all the levels of the organization. Anyway, just in case you're wondering what all this stuff is. But also wanted to, if you made it this far, if you made it 15 minutes into the video, I have a whole lot of these Mariners magnetic schedules. If you want one of these magnetic schedules, I'd be happy to give you one. Just make sure you subscribe to the Dom Skeen channel. Go follow me on Instagram or Twitter. Hit me up on one of those. And if you send me a screenshot saying you're subscribed over there, I will send you one of these, or I will, we can meet up at a game, whatever the deal is. But I would love to help get these two more Mariners fans. I mean, I don't think they gave them all out. Not everybody was seeing them and taking them is the thing. Like sometimes they give them out after the game. This year they did give them out before. Last year they gave them out after. Either way, right? I would like to give a lot of these away. I still have a big stack of last year's that I wasn't able to give away all of them. Now that I have 300 subscribers instead of 10, would love to, get you guys these magnetic schedules if you weren't at opening day. Always, just love to, spread the love. Absolutely. But, and yeah, so those are really the two at-bats that they're going to talk about for Kyle and Julio. I got to talk about Chase Delauder just for a second. First we're going to talk about the platoons. Going to go back to the in-game notes and say, so is Logan really throwing a cutter? Because in the T-Mobile Park, on like the screen, it was saying Logan Gilbert's throwing this 90-mile-an-hour cutter. I'm like, that's sick. And now, according to StatCast, he actually was. Was this pitch an actual cutter? I'm going to have to, do a little more research. Because if Logan Gilbert was actually throwing a cutter, that's something that he has not done before. And it could change who he is as a pitcher. It could be very interesting. Like I said, 12 swinging strikes. So, yeah, he had... and the cutter, actually, he threw it 18 times. Didn't get a single whiff. Didn't get a single swinging strike on it. Did get 5 called strikes on it. So, called strikes plus whiffs, right? Ended up with the same amount as the slider and the splitter. So maybe there is something with this cutter. Maybe it is a good weapon off of his four-seam fastball. He threw it only to lefties as well. So maybe this is just something that is going to help Logan against left-handed hitters get these called strikes. 28%, that's a really good, really high rate of called strikes. But that is an interesting new development with Logan. That's probably the number one thing I'm going to be watching with his next start. The number one and number two thing I'm going to be watching is, first of all, does he, where's his velocity at? Because, if he keeps the velocity going up, last year he had a lot of success with this kind of middle 90s velocity. I don't think it was even as high as the year before. He was pumping 99 when he was like a rookie. Not having the best results, but the fastball shape was really good, and it was really something that was liked among kind of the pitching circles, excuse me. And yeah, but then his four seam as well. I think could have been the other thing, is that, so coming in with 18 inches of induced vertical break, that is elite. That's like Gavin Williams' best trait, is that he has that much vertical break on his fastball, like 18 inches. I think it was like 16 or 18 for him. But then to also like 9 inches of horizontal break on his fastball, it was a big deal last year, and he only had 3 tonight. So these are some of the things that we're going to really look at in the data next time. It's like is it coming in? Was his fastball just coming in too straight, not breaking horizontally enough? That could have been the case. It didn't get hit super hard. Logan did not get, but quality of contact takes a long time to normalize and stuff. Anyway, he got some whiffs. He had decent results. Not to talk about Logan like he had a bad night, but it definitely wasn't his best. And really the main problem was that he hung some breakers in the middle of the zone. So like looking at some of these breakers, it's like like he had more break on his splitter. He had more break on his curveball, slider, in line with last year. The cutter, completely new pitch, which was he? I don't think he was throwing this in spring training. I don't remember Logan throwing a cutter in spring training. I haven't heard any news about it, so I think that is a new development. Probably gonna have to say like one of the names for this video is gonna have to be like Logan's Gilbert's new cutter, because that's interesting. But anyway, yeah, Logan left him hanging. So it looks like Logan was throwing a cutter. It had 20 inches of drop, it says, 13 inches of induced vertical break, 5 inches of horizontal break. That it sounds like a cutter to me. I mean, as somebody who doesn't know pitching the way that like Lance Brostowski does, but gonna be interested to see what people are saying about this. Gonna kind of listen to some sources around the league and pitching sources and stuff, and get back to you guys more, especially by the time of his next start, and definitely do a Logan Gilbert breakdown here early in the season and talk about that once we have some more ideas. Anyway, yeah, Logan did leave him hanging. His fastball and velocities are down. All velocities are down. Just needs to trust Cal's calls if he comes back out. And that was in the after the 5th inning, going into the 6th inning. Like, okay, he needs to trust Cal's call, because Cal did come out and kind of talk to him, and a little bit as well. Cal came out and talked to a couple of the relievers, and it seemed to be, pretty effective. He's very good at that. Gary Hill had a good point about calling games on the radio today, saying, we don't know, we just kind of have to take people's word for it that guys are good at it, and that the catchers are good at it and stuff. But anyway, then the platoons both homered. This was after Luke Raley jumped all over a first pitch and put it out of the yard. And that was just kind of like, wow, the platoons both homered on opening day. That is what happened. It's great to see. Is it a sign that I think Luke Raley's going to hit 20 home runs, and Dom Canzone, since he hit 2, is going to hit 30 or 40 home runs? No, but it's very, very good to see. If Dom Canzone could get to 20 with 400 plate appearances, that would be awesome. And if Luke Raley could get to, 15 in 300 plate appearances, that's the same pace as a Canzone, right? Awesome math skills right there. Yeah, that would be great. And Luke's I know people call him Nuke Raley, but this was like a laser. This was a Luke laser, I would call it. And again, these XBAs were pulling up an otherwise pretty mediocre night for the Mariners offense. 113.8 off the bat, though. He absolutely smashed that thing. 344 feet, 22-degree launch angle. So, that thing was just a laser pull shot. And it was a cutter down and in on the corner to Luke Raley, basically on the corner of the strike zone, right near his knees. And, he just jumped all over it. Then Dom Canzone's homers. Dom Canzone on Tanner Bybee. The first one was it was a sinker, and it was just a little bit in from that same corner we were talking about with Luke Raley. And then the one with the one that Canzone hit off Sean Armstrong, first pitch, it says on StatCast now that, it was a four-seam that was in the zone, a little bit above, the bottom in corner. And but it looked like it was honestly closer to Dom Canzone than the plate. And I don't know, it looked like he had just timed it up and picked his spot, and he knew he was going to swing at it the whole time. And he hit it 444 feet as well. So great sign. I'm not sure if it's a sign of things to come, though. Again, it's he just really, Dom Canzone destroys righties. That's just what he does. He did that last year. I think he's going to continue to do that this year. He had a 3-homer game, by the way, back in Kansas City. So we know he's perfectly capable of this. He's not going to be a popular fantasy baseball guy now, for example. And don't shoot the messenger, but he he's still probably not going to hit against right-handers too often, or left-handers, excuse me. And he actually didn't get a chance to hit off of a lefty today. He did end the game lining out off of Cade Smith, another righty, but yeah, Canzone did not he would need to hit lefties to become like an everyday fantasy baseball type player, and put up really insane like all-star level stats, which that's the only reason he won't do that. Chase DeLauder for the Guardians. I know he appeared in the playoffs just barely, I think, but this is or at least he was on the roster. But he homered twice tonight, and this dude is the Guardians' second best hitter behind Jose Ramirez. I can confidently say he to me is like the body type is similar to Dom Canzone, a little bit bigger, like bigger than Dom, like a bigger version of Dom Canzone, and more polished as well. That to the point where he would be able to hit righties. Like I think Chase DeLauder is almost like Dom Canzone's like a better version of Dom Canzone in those regards. Not to take anything away from Canzone, but like DeLauder, who works the 6th pitch at bat on the second plate appearance of the game, and he works the full count. Okay, taking these 5 pitches to work the full count, and then he smacks it, absolutely pulls it to right field, 358 feet. It's gone. Chase DeLauder, no doubt, going to be one of the talking points of the night around the league for that. So even if you're a Mariners fan and you're upset about that, there is some saving grace that you got to see Chase DeLauder's first 2 big league home runs. I think he could very easily be an all-star this year as well. He just needs to stay healthy, which has been that's been the hardest thing for him, is to stay healthy. Okay, talk about the bullpen a little bit. I am not one to criticize the bullpen decisions and say, you shouldn't have done this, like shouldn't have made these decisions on the bullpen. Man, I know that I'm talking a little bit in circles right now, but I was just at the game, just got home and trying to get this video up for you guys before I go eat or do anything like that. So Brady Farkas, shout out to Brady Farkas, refused to lose spot on Twitter. He is one of my favorite people covering the Mariners. Definitely gonna have him on the 1-0 podcast someday. And he is a defender of the bullpen decisions. He goes a little bit deeper into it, and it makes complete sense too. He said his motto: pitchforks down, tridents up. I love that. Pitchforks down, tridents up. That's exactly kind of how I feel as well. All right, let's just have a quick I'm just going to kind of read what he said because I think it's so good. I'm going to actually put it up on the screen here too and just give him credit because I think he said it well. He said, all right, let's just have a quick off-the-cuff bullpen combo. Brian Rocchio hit 224 versus lefties in 2025, and he got a hit off Gabe Spire. So, was bringing in Gabe Spire a bad decision? Absolutely not. Chase DeLauder has never played an official MLB game, and he got a hit off Gabe Spire. Is that Gabe Spire's fault? No. Could Wilson have walked Jose Ramirez, instead of letting him hit this double? Sure, but to put another man in scoring position, when it's a close game, at that point, you do have the lead, but still. Could he have brought in Brash? Sure, but that seems unnecessary on night 1, especially with how good Spire was last year. Yes, the team was down 1 and used Legumina and Criswell. Do you think they would have burned Brash and Bizzardo when down, especially if they may not want to use Spire and or Ferrer again? Spots 2 to 6 in the order are 1 for 15 with 7 strikeouts. Also not a damn problem. Pitchforks down, tridents up. I agree. Spots 2 through 6 in the order, 1 for 15 with 7 strikeouts. That's why the Mariners lost. Not because pitchers that made the opening day roster pitched. I hate to break it to you, but Casey Legumina is on the Mariners. Cooper Criswell's on the Mariners. And, you're going to have to deal with it. Carlos Vargas is going to pitch at some point probably in these next couple days. I don't know, if you expected like this idea that you can give all relievers that are like at the level of Edward Pizzardo or better, or Matt Brash or better. It's like, yeah, like I don't, I like you're just not gonna have that. Bringing in Legamino when it's a one-run game, I'm not mad at it at all. I think maybe they had a scouting report. Maybe there's something that we as fans don't know, and there's a reason that the guys who are making the decisions are making the decisions. Maybe that whole scouting team, this the advanced scouting team that went on the field and got clapped up right along with the players and everything. Maybe they actually did have an idea of what they were doing, right, and the entire organization had an idea of what they were doing. I'm not gonna like these people know a lot more than we do. So I'm going to remind, I think a good reminder is that the best thing that we know is what we don't know. How much there is that we don't know. We don't know what we don't know. Sounds like I'm being Captain Obvious. I am maybe a little bit, but I am always going to be the voice of reason. Let's go 1-0 tomorrow. And you go to 1-0 tomorrow, I mean, what were you expecting to sweep the Guardians? And what were you expecting to win up the Guardians by only hitting solo shot home runs? I mean, yeah. And I mean, they had Cade Smith come in and close it down, right? They have a good closer. They have a good team. Not to say we shouldn't beat them and we can't beat them. We absolutely can. This was a back and forth game for a lot of it. Cleveland takes the lead with Chase DeLauter's solo shot. Brendan Donovan leads off with the solo shot. The Mariners hit another solo shot in the second inning, and then Cleveland scores 2, and the Mariners score 1. And it's tied up at 3-3 for a little bit. And then in the 7th inning, Cleveland scores 2, which ends up being the winning runs. And then Mariners score 1. Then in the 9th inning, Cleveland just tacks on an insurance run and makes it so that the Mariners can't swing for the fences in the bottom of the 9th against Cade Smith. Yeah, so there's stories all I think we've talked about a lot of them. The ABS, the spots 2 through 6 going 1 for 15 with 7 strikeouts. Callan Julio, right? The platoon doing awesome. Both sides of both the lefties of the platoons homering and getting after an incredibly hot start is awesome to see. We know Callan Julio are going to bounce back, and Naylor, and I mean, we know those guys are going to be good. Seeing the platoon guys get off to a hot start is awesome. I will say Cole Young, 0 for 3 strikeouts. Didn't look as good as I think he did. I think it was just a case of bad luck, though. His timing, it doesn't look as good. I will say, like Dom Canzone, he looks a lot different when he's hitting in person and you're watching him versus when you're watching him on the TV. Because on the TV, you see him from straight, the straight on angle, and then when you're watching him from the side, you see the side angle where he's a guy with a whole lot of forward movement in his swing, similar to Dom Canzone. And Dom Canzone's swing actually didn't look quite as goofy as it did last year. It really looks like it's been cleaned up in a way. But Cole Young, it still looks like he's got a little bit of a goofy, he was standing way back in the box and then stepping way forward, which I know that's how he runs into these pitches and sends them longer than anybody else did last year, or longer than anybody else in spring training, hits these mammoth home runs. But I think Cole Young, I don't know, I think the hitting coaches are going to work with him. I think that, just some minor tweaks here and there, and I still believe in my breakout prediction for Cole Young 1 game into the season. Just because he went over 3 strikeouts, I'm not concerned whatsoever. Okay, I'll quickly run through the swinging strikes and some of the data for our other pitchers. Jose Ferrer, sinker, changeup. Jose Ferrer is in the top 5% of talent of relievers, maybe the top 3 or even 2 or 1% of relievers, talent-wise, that I've ever seen. He can just throw a sinker in the zone all the time, and there's some contact, and it's going to be allowed a little bit, but he's going to get more outs than he doesn't. So I really love watching Jose Ferrer, just seeing how hard the ball comes off of his hand. 20 inches of vertical break tonight. Last year the average was 18. Actually on both of his pitches, on the changeup and the sinker. Last year 18, this year 20 for a horizontal break. in inches. And he also had way more break on the sinker and the changeup, 3 inches more. Went from 7 to 10 on the sinker and 1 to 4 on the changeup in terms of vertical break tonight. So I think Jose Ferrer, also his spin, his RPMs were up on both of his pitches. I think Jose Ferrer is a stock up type of guy. If you're watching 35 minutes in, shout out to you. Let me know. I'm going to say the name of a random Mariner. Go ahead and comment down below. Stephen Barron, if you watch till the end. Comment or comment something about Jose. Just comment Jose Ferrer stock up. Jose Ferrer stock up if you watch 35 minutes into this video. Gabe Spire also looks pretty good. Just because he ends up giving up some of the losing runs, on opening day, it doesn't mean anything for his stock. And then Casey Legumina, serviceable, not obviously your best pitcher in terms of StatCast, but I don't know. Like I think he's a real competitor. I know that's not the thing, that everybody wants to hear, but I think Casey Legumina is good for the team. He got hard hit a little bit tonight. Didn't get a ton of whiffs. That might be who he is. He might never show up in the StatCast, but I think he is a scrapper, and I wouldn't be surprised if guys in the clubhouse really like Casey Legumina. Cooper Criswell, and he also didn't give up the runs. And Cooper Criswell didn't give up the losing runs either. So I don't know why people are so upset about using Legumina and Criswell, like they're on the roster. And then it's a 1-run game. What do you expect? Like these guys are on the roster. They're using who they think is the best guy for that moment, and they're using who they think the best guy is for that moment. I know I'm saying some nothing burgers right now, but man, there's a lot of data to react to. I'm just excited. Cooper Criswell comes out 17 pitches. And he doesn't look terrible either. Like the eye test alone, like, I don't know. Cooper Criswell has something to him, even though he throws this super low velocity stuff. His changeup was his most used pitch. Then the sinker, then the cutter, then the sweeper. All right, I'm definitely talked about a lot of what I could. If you've watched to this point in the video, comment Jose Ferrer stock up, and let me know. Go ahead and subscribe and follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and message me if you want one of these magnetic schedules if you didn't get a chance to go to the game. Other than that, would love to have you around. We're going to be recapping every single game, every single night of the season. And I will see you guys back again tomorrow for the pregame. I won't be going to the game tomorrow, so I'll get to do a full pregame right when the lineup comes out. I'll be in the studio, and I will be in the studio right after the game to do a post game. See you guys then. Go M's.